Doug Capella.
And I'm Jacob Hammers.
Jacob Hammers here, and we got your WCTV Game of the Week. Two schools separated by Split Log Road here in Williamson County. The host Ravenwood Raptors and the visiting Nolensville Knights. And Jacob, one thing that you and I kind of talked about before we really got to the point with the lights coming on is just how much youth there is between these two teams. I counted a total of 6 seniors amongst both squads tonight.
Yeah, Nolensville only having Ravenwood only having 3 upperclassmen in total on this girls' team. Nolensville 5 seniors alone on their team. That shows Ravenwood's youth and kind of how they're going to be pushing forward in the future past this year.
We got the starting lineups coming up here for Ravenwood, but don't let that fool you. They use just about their entire bench. And really it's a story, Jacob, of 2 different teams. Nolensville coming in with 14 wins, Ravenwood coming in with, I believe, 2. Ravenwood is really looking to just learn, grow, build their depth. And they got a strong class coming in from Woodland. Currently, their main feeder middle school is undefeated right now with a couple of big-time players down there, whereas Nolensville is looking to make some noise in the playoffs this year. And so kind of excited to see just how the youthfulness of Ravenwood meets the competitiveness of Nolensville tonight and how this game's going to shake out.
Yeah, talking to Coach James earlier this week for Ravenwood, he talked about a 12-man or woman rotation for this Ravenwood team. They utilize about everyone on their team, and they've had a strong freshman class. They've had a couple starting freshmen this year.
About to go to tip-off here. Size advantage goes to Josie Ladd, the 6'1" junior from Nolensville, coach's daughter, so you know she's going to be fundamentally sound for sure.
Yeah, 7.6 points per game so far in the season. Really a threat from the three-point line. With her 6'1" figure, she's still a threat from that far.
Easily wins the tip, and you said it, Josie Ladd, you think at 6'1" on the girls' team would be working the paint during warm-up, but she was content at the three-point line. Ravenwood strikes first. That's 24. Eleanor Vogus.
Vogus, a strong player for this Ravenwood team. 5'11", is able to get deep in the paint and is going to use her size advantage on number 34, Sarah Brakefield, for the Nolensville Knights.
Nolensville working the perimeter here, looking to see what's going to open up inside. Ladd scoots into the middle.
Brakefield smothered by Ravenwood. It's a steal for Ravenwood. That's number 2, Kylie White, for the Raptors.
Ravenwood turns it right back over into the hands of Josie Ladd, who's going to bring it down. Passes it off to Nyla Johnson, who's going to shoot the 3 in and out. Scramble for the ball. Nolensville comes up, winners on it, shoots and misses. The official stops play. We got a player down for Ravenwood. So Ravenwood, while we have the injury break here, comes out aggressive, attacks the hole. A couple loose balls there, pretty typical.
Yeah, Coach James earlier this week talked in practice that he's seeing the progress so far in this young team. He's had to watch them progress over time, and he's really trying to push this team to play more physical and play against teams that might be bigger than them.
Unfortunately for Raven, one of their few upperclassmen, that's going to be Ashlyn Burke, junior, 5'11" forward, is down, and looks like she's in some pain with her knee.
Yeah, knee injury is never what you want to see. There's a lot of bad things that can come from a simple knee injury, but she's gonna get up and she's gonna be helped off the court, and it's just good to see her walk and putting a little bit of pressure on, even if it's not much.
Looks like she's gonna go right back to the trainer's room.
What do you think the keys for Nolensville to put their foot on this game and really assert their 14-3 record so far this season?
Sure, they're just going to calm down. I mean, Ravenwood's an in-town rival in just about every sport. And so even though the records are different, you know, familiarity, these kids have played each other since middle school. And so just to calm down and let the game come to them, not force anything.
I think the game's going to be facilitated through Nyla Johnson, especially. She's their one senior, and one of their 5 seniors. And the way she facilitates the court is really well. The 2 games they've lost this season that have been recorded, 27% from the field and 21% from the field. So she really shows how this team ends these games.
when you'd mentioned she outshoots on the free throw line by almost 20 shots every other player. So back and forth here in the first quarter so far. Ravenwood up 4-3. Good 2-pass to the inside there. Give Josie Ladd the assist.
Ladd, three assists per game so far this season. She's not only a great scorer at 6'1" and a great defender, the way she moves the ball around is almost game-changing for this Nolensville team because they're not running through one player.
Ravenwood a little sloppy there with the turnover on their court. Dishes it inside. That's going to be shot by number 34, Sarah Brakefield. Blocked. Ravenwood pushing down court now. Pass inside, back outside, up for the three, in and out, no good. That was number 3, Reese Mall for Ravenwood on the miss.
Yeah, this Nolensville team has number 3 out there. That's MC Hodges. She's a freshman, which is surprising to see from this Nolensville team with how many older players. They've got 5 seniors on their team, lots of juniors and lots of sophomores. Seeing a freshman out there shows that they do have that young core, while Ravenwood is predominantly that young core itself.
Nolensville pressing and gets the turnover there. Quick 2, they push the lead to 7-4. So Nolensville switching up a little bit on defense now. They're showing a half-court press here.
Yeah, that was Brakefield for Nolensville. She's got 9 points per game this season. She's the 3rd leading scorer for this team. She's been one of the most dominant players in the paint, especially looking at Reese Mall with 9.8 points per game. She's one of the bigger players on this team, and she facilitates the paint better than anyone else in this county.
Ravenwood looking for room. Nolensville's defense just smothering up to this point. Nyla Johnson with the steal. She's going to go all the way, dishes it to number 3. That's going to be Reese Mall on the basket. Good. Nyla Johnson with the steal and the assist. Nolensville pushing their lead 9-4.
Yeah, and this is something Coach James talked about in their coaches meeting. He knew that Nolensville was going to come out in this game and they were going to press and they were going to play aggressive and physical because that's what they've done all season. And I think right now that's getting to the young talent on this Ravenwood team. It's a pressure they haven't seen before coming straight out of middle school.
Well, Nolensville is just simply doubling the person on the ball, using the out of bounds as a third man. And it's caused 2 turnovers already, and the coach saw it again, calls a timeout. They're forcing Ravenwood into bad decisions and bad passes. And really turnovers early on have been the difference here with the score 9-4 because I think they have now 6 points off of turnovers. And so it just goes to show when you have a young team, they're going to make those mistakes.
And Coach James' key to win this game was taking care of the ball, avoiding those turnovers. That was his one key to staying in this game as a young Ravenwood team. And I think so far they're going to need to go into the break and kind of focus on that a lot.
Well, they're going to let Nyla Johnson here just pressure the ball carrier coming up court, not giving him any breathing room.
That's one thing Coach Ladd talked a lot about this season. He knows that Nyla Johnson's a top scorer in this league. But if you look at every single game, she's guarding the other team's best player, and she's holding them to under their averages. That is an underrated part of her game.
Nolensville working the perimeter here again. Back to Nyla Johnson, out to Josie Ladd. She's going to shoot 3, in and out, no good.
Looks like an over the top on Sarah Brakefield there. She's using her size to her advantage, and that's going to become very important later in this game if it stays close.
I mean, in Nolensville, again, applying the pressure. There's the double team.
Ravenwood's gonna have to play this game with a lot of basketball IQ. It's not going to be won through sheer size and power. They're going to really have to use their brains to figure out anything they can to avoid this pressure.
Addie Harris from Nolensville checks in. So there, Ravenwood beats the press, dishes it outside. 22 works it inside. It's blocked by Addie Harris. Josie Ladd on the possession, takes it up court, dishes it over to Johnson. Johnson outside, back out to Josie Ladd, who's going to shoot the 3 off the front of the rim and no good. Nyla Johnson there on the rebound. Lots of contact, no call here. Josie Ladd back up and misses again. Bit of a cold streak for Josie Ladd. 0 for her last 5, I believe, on the floor.
Yeah, and that's Haviland's first rebound of the game. She's a guard, junior, but 5'8", a tall guard for this Ravenwood team. She's going to be one of the stronger players for this Ravenwood team. Haviland, almost 10 points per game this season, really doing well to push the ball downfield, or down court, sorry.
Vogus shooting 2 from the line, makes her first one. That's going to be 5 for your Raptors. Josie Ladd draws an early foul here in the period. 3:24 left to go. Vogus second shot up and good.
Yeah, we just saw freshman Aaliyah Starr checking in for the Raptors. She's only 5'5" and a freshman, and she's going to be getting a lot of minutes in this game. The way she facilitates as a guard is beyond her years.
Nyla Johnson dishes it. Nolensville again working the perimeter, inside dish to Addie Harris, looking for space. Back outside, inside to Josie Ladd, kicks it back outside. 3 is up and good. The bank is open on the 3, number 23. It's going to be Ella Claire Tharp, senior.
Yeah, Ravenwood's going to try to push this tempo. They want to focus on a fast game. They don't want to let Nolensville get physical and keep their endurance. They want to tire this Nolensville team out so that they can not be forced out of scoring due to the Nolensville size.
So 2 quick fouls on 2 integral players here for Nolensville. First on Josie Ladd, now Nyla Johnson draws her first. Starr up and misses her first free throw. Knights doubling up the Raptors 12-6 here. Just about 3/4 of the way through the first quarter.
Yeah, in these rival games, you really can't count a team out. I don't care what the record is. 2-9 for Ravenwood, 14-3 for Nolensville. You cannot count out a team in a rivalry. There is a lot of heart going into this game. A lot of these players know players on the other teams, grew up with playing with them. You never really know what's going to happen. If Ravenwood keeps this passion, I mean, that's a steal. Number 40, Kate Jerwis right there. They're going to play physical when they can.
Addie Johnson tried to hit Josie Ladd with the behind-the-back pass inside. Got stolen. Ravenwood looking for some points here. Starr looking. Dribbles out of it. Guarded by Addie Harris.
The defense for Nolensville been a strong point this season. They've held a lot of teams under their averages on defense. Lots of steals per game, especially coming from Nyla Johnson and number 23 number 23 Ella Tharp.
So Ravenwood tries their own pressure there. No good. An easy basket there. That's going to be number 3, Reese Mall, with the 2, pushes it 14-6. And Nolensville just playing simple man defense. They're not doing anything spectacular here. Ravenwood just having a hard time with ball control and the pressure that's being applied. They can't find space on the man defense here.
Something Ladd talked about a lot earlier this week when he was talking. He goes into these film breakdowns and scouting of the other team, and he's very simplistic. He focuses on getting the rebounds, pushing the ball up court, and not trying to get fancy. He doesn't want this team to be flashy. He wants them to pass the ball and play fundamentally, and that's what they're doing so far tonight.
15 for the Raptors. Chichi Nanodu tries to back down but misses the shot. Mall stops at the 3, passes inside to Addie Harris, takes a couple dribbles, back out to Mall. Mall's going to shoot the 3. No good. Fight for a rebound. Ball goes up, no foul called. Vogus comes up with the ball down to Starr. Starr misses the layup. Rebound miss. Vogus miss. Out of bounds. So just 3 prime opportunities there for points for Ravenwood, and just 3 missed baskets come up empty each time right in front of the rim. And if they're going to want to keep this game close, they're going to have to start hitting some of those close to the rim.
Ravenwood already missing 2 free throws this game. They're giving away the free points that are given to them by Nolensville. That's their best
shoots
chance.
The 3 in and good. Vogus draws the lead to 5 for Nolensville with the 3.
Vogus, the 5'11" freshman for this Ravenwood team. She's probably the star of this freshman class for Ravenwood, the way she shoots the 3 ball and can facilitate the paint so well with her size.
Nolensville dishes inside to Addie Harris. Addie Harris on the miss. Fights for the rebound. Jump ball. Possession arrow goes to Nolensville. 41.1 seconds left.
Addie Harris been a critical part of this Nolensville success. She has almost 7 points per game, and 5'11" again. A lot of tall players on this Nolensville team.
The dish directly to the 3-point line, up and no good. Turnover right there on the rebound. Shot 3 again, up and no good. Nolensville just shooting alley out here from the three-point line.
Yeah, and that's the problem with this Ravenwood team right now. They can't get boards. If they're going to let Nolensville dominate the offensive glass and get second chances, they're going to win this game handily.
Still working the perimeter. Plenty of time left in the quarter. Harris with a swish brings the score 16-9. Ravenwood's got to be quick. 5 seconds. Shot is up and good.
16-12, ending the first quarter in this game so far.
Probably a little bit closer than Coach Ladd would like there. They had a few opportunities to really push the lead, but a couple key three baskets there right at the end of the quarter there brings the game pretty respectable. Ravenwood's got to come away thinking that was a decent first quarter overall.
Yeah, and you can see Nolensville's game plan. They're playing simplistic. They have Johnson pressing the ball carrier up the court, and they're just moving the ball and looking for open shots. There's nothing, we haven't seen a lot of scheduled plays so far.
Well, and when you look, I talked about it earlier, and you mentioned it, 2 missed free throws right there. That's the easy points off the board, and then 3 back-to-back misses from right under the rim. That's a 16-16 ball game if they hit any combination of those. And again, that's youthfulness will get you. It's a good growing experience for this team, but that's where the youth and the playing a lot of freshmen and sophomores is going to get you.
Yeah, Nolensville coming off of 2 losses in back-to-back years to Lincoln County by 3 in the regional tournament, trying to break that streak this year. Coach Ladd thinks that they personally have an easier path to the state championship this year, but they know it's not going to be easy. Easier doesn't mean easy for them, and it's going to be a lot of hard work for this Nolensville team, especially they have to play their best games against some of the teams that they don't expect to win.
So just like that, back underway, second quarter here to start. Nolensville on defense, sticking with the man defense. Vogus driving in, working her body, and that's going to be 14-16. Drops a 2 on the Nolensville defense.
Yeah, and that's something Vogus does a lot. You see a lot of just backing down and forcing her opponents to be smaller than her, even if they aren't smaller. I mean, these are equal-sized matchups, but she's making this Nolensville team look tiny the way she's backing them down.
Well, and you never want to use a player's, especially female players' weight in the reference, but when you look at the size difference between Vogus and the girls like Josie Ladd and for Nolensville, they're just a different build. They're more wiry than Vogus is. Vogus is a little more muscular, and she can back them down. That's exactly what she did on that play for the 2. So yeah. Quick turnover for Nolensville, and Ravenwood's going to take possession here, looking to tie the ball game up. Nyla Johnson on the bench getting a breather, sipping some sports drink over there. I would imagine she's probably going to check in here pretty quickly.
Yeah, Nyla Johnson's a real focal point of this Nolensville team. Obviously, I mentioned it earlier, those 27% from the field goal and 21 in those 2 losses. That's a big part of this team. If Nyla is efficient and she takes open shots and they go in, that's how this team's going to win the game.
Travel on Ravenwood there. The girl was trying to back down. There was nobody there, and she just kind of fell over. So that was a travel called. And Josie Ladd is going to inbound here. Brennan Rigsby taking the ball up. Dishes out to Maul. Maul looking at Ladd, says no. Addie Harris on the perimeter. Ladd good from about 20 feet out.
Yeah, and that's Ladd's game. She uses that 6'1" to her advantage. She can get over these players. They can't block her. That's why she's so good from the perimeter and so good from the mid-range. She can get over these players and make easy baskets.
Turnover Ravenwood. That's going to be backcourt there. Ball got away from the ball handler, and Nolensville says thank you very much. Ladd, and there's Johnson on cue, checks back in, got a sip and back in. Dishes it to Ladd. Ladd back out to Maul. Maul to Ladd. Ladd looking inside, back out to Maul. Maul to Johnson, thinks about it. Dribbles back to Ladd. Ladd's looking, finds Maul. Maul to Johnson. Johnson open for the 3, and it is good. A breakdown there defensively. I don't think they intended to leave Nyla Johnson open on the perimeter there for that easy 3 ball.
That's that ball movement we were talking about earlier. Nolensville is making this game simple in their eyes. They are just moving the ball. They are finding the open person, and they are moving the ball around the perimeter, and Ravenwood simply just can't keep up with the pace right now.
Clean block and out of bounds. They're going to give the possession to Nolensville. I think both players were looking for a foul on each other there. A block or a charge, neither was called, and the ball just rolled out of bounds. And Josie Ladd takes it up court.
Yeah, communication's been an issue for this Ravenwood team so far this season. They've had a lot of breakdowns on defense, leaving people like Nyla Johnson wide open with another three for Nyla, and that one goes in as well.
They may want to change their defensive strategy up if they're going to leave Nyla Johnson open for three, because she's shooting 100% on her last two, being wide open.
Yeah, and that was a deep three, too. She wasn't just on the perimeter there. She was a couple steps back. That's another piece of her game. She loves that deep three.
Travel that time. She took one extra step, and she shot that from Caitlin Clark range. In and out, but the travel was called beforehand. But the Knights, with the two back-to-back threes, pushed their lead to 10, 24-14 over the Raptors, and the wheels falling off a little bit for Ravenwood. Several turnovers here, and they just can't break the Nolensville pressure on D.
Ravenwood coming out of that end of the first quarter with some momentum in their back pocket. They had the crowd on their side, and it looked like they were going to be able to push that court. Now a 2-10 stretch since that quarter ended.
Another turnover, trying to find Vogus inside. Nyla Johnson on the steal. Dribbles up, has Maul on the outside, open for a second, decides to drive, blocked by Vogus. That's going to be a tough call for Maul to drive in on Vogus, giving up about 7 inches. Vogus at the free throw line says no, dishes it out for the three to number 22 for Ravenwood, Cora Haviland, and that's going to be no good. Addie Harris on the rebound. Addie looking up court, doesn't see anything she likes, dishes it out to Josie Ladd. Ill-advised cross-court pass, and Vogus is there for the steal. Looking to go dish, miss.
This
Josie Ladd on the rebound
has been extremely impressive forcing these turnovers today. They've forced almost 6 turnovers so far this game. They're forcing Nolensville into making mistakes, but they're not executing on that. They can't finish the fast break or quick transition buckets.
Well, they are getting absolutely annihilated on the glass. I mean, Nolensville is just killing them on the offensive rebounds and the defensive side of the ball. And some of that, you're giving up a lot of height. Nolensville has a couple 6-foot players, but just they're not boxing out, and they're just getting killed on the glass underneath.
Yeah, and offensive rebounds are something you really can't give up. That giving them second chances after a miss is the last thing that this Raptors team wants to do, especially being down 12 now in the second quarter with 3.5 minutes remaining.
Andrew James, coach of the Raptors, saw enough of that business, called a timeout to try to slow things down a little bit, coach up this young squad for the Raptors. The lead is now 12 for the Knights, 3:36 left to go here in the second quarter.
Raptors coming off a 6-22 record last season, hoping to make that better. 2-9 so far this season, looking for a regional win against Nolensville tonight.
Refs letting them play a little bit choppy. You like to see it.
Yeah, a lot of aggression and physicality in this game so far, especially on the glass. You see Nolensville moving into more of a zone defense on this possession. You wonder how that is going to confuse this Ravenwood team after man-to-man for so long.
Ill-advised cross-court pass there. Addie Harris on the steal, but Ravenwood, this is going to be a jump ball. I believe Raptors have possession. So when you look at the score, Ravenwood has only put 2 on the board in this second quarter, and we are just over 5 minutes inside of it at the 2:52 mark.
Yeah, and it's not like they're not forcing opportunities. They're getting open opportunities. It's just finishing those opportunities and making these points happen.
34 for Nolensville. That's going to be senior Sarah Brakefield on the 2 inside. Doubled up Ravenwood again, 28-14. Got a man open underneath. There they find her. She shoots. It's going to be blocked.
That's Brakefield again. She had almost 3 blocks in their last game against against Page after a tough loss to Brentwood last Friday.
Nolensville settling down in their zone defense, which is just takes a little less out of you to play zone than it does man. 3-ball up and good. That's going to be Kylie White on the 3.
And that's exactly why this Nolensville team started the game in man. They're running a 3-2 zone now, a high 3. That low 2 just left her wide open in the corner. You saw the lower 2 defenders just not looking for those corners, trying to guard the paint, and that leads to wide open 3s.
Addie Harris with the ball looking around. Has it out to Rigsby. Rigsby back to Harris. Harris out to Tharp. Tharp thinks about it, dishes it inside, and it's stolen.
And that's the senior for Ravenwood, Kate Jerwis. A lot of steals this season, using her physicality to the best that she can. She really fights for the ball, and she swarms the ball when it's around her.
Well, and if you look who's out there, there's a lot of, for lack of a better term, starters out for Nolensville. Coach Ladd resting a good bit of his players.
Yeah, and that's what they like to do. They get the starters out, they try to get an early lead, and they let the bench do what they can. And right there, you saw a block.
Back-to-back blocks there for the Knights. Brennan Rigsby is going to take it up.
Yeah, and Harris and Brakefield, a real threat duo in the paint with their size and their physicality. They have almost 5 blocks per game average together this season.
Addie Harris drives inside, dishes it back out. Rigsby bashed inside to number 34. It's going to be Brakefield on the 2. 30-17 as the half winds down. Just under 15 seconds to play. Ravenwood probably just looking to have the last possession here. But what I've noticed is they're really just trying to survive on shooting threes. And I don't know that they're going to be able to do that or keep it even close just to make a random 3 every now and again. Right there, air ball there to end the half. And so like that, it's 30-17. 5 second quarter points there for Ravenwood's just not going to cut it when Nolensville added 14. And so they're going to have some talking to do in the locker room there, but I just think that this is what we probably expected to see here. The better, more talented, and more experienced older team of Nolensville just really taking advantage of the youthful inexperience of the Ravenwood team.
Yeah, this Ravenwood team looks confused on defense. We saw they ended up triple teaming Brakefield in the paint, not even giving them a chance to look for the players behind them going for an easy bucket. And when your back is turned to the glass, how are you going to get a rebound?
We're going to go ahead and break for the half. WCTV Game of the Week. Nolensville Knights visiting the Ravenwood Raptors. We'll be back at the half. We're back in action here. Second half of the girls contest on your WCTV Game of the Week. Visiting Nolensville here at Ravenwood with the lead, which just got extended 32-17 on Nyla Johnson's inside bucket. I'm Doug Capella, and I'm here with
Jacob Hammers.
Jacob Hammer time here on this Friday night. So turnovers have kind of been the story of the first half for Ravenwood. Only scored 2 points in that second quarter, which allowed the Knights to push to a 13-point lead, which is now 15-point lead.
Yeah, we saw Ravenwood miss 3 opportunities in just one sequence in that first half alone on transition. They've just struggled on the quick transition, easy shots even. Like, they missed 2 free throws in that first half, have missed wide open buckets. It's just the inconsistencies and inefficiencies that have put Nolensville ahead so far.
Well, and to not discredit the hard work of players there like Vogus, who just drove down and dropped 2 on the Knights defense, but the Knights have kind of been able to do what they've wanted. They've switched their defense 3 different times. They went from a man pressure look in the first quarter to then a 3-2 zone, a 2-3, or a 3-2 zone rather up top, and a 2-3 zone down. And they've really just kind of been able to do what they've wanted. They've been able to score when they wanted.
Yeah, and you'd think the size of players like Josie Ladd that just made that 3-pointer, you'd think that size is really what is killing Ravenwood, but I think it's truly just the inconsistencies right now, not making those open shots and taking the opportunities when they're given.
Fast break pass off the turnover to Nyla Johnson, who's going to easy score 2. That pushes the second half lead to 18. And I think halfway through the second quarter, Coach Ladd for the Knights just decided to rest his entire starting lineup for a good duration, and that's really what allowed it to kind of stalemate for a while. But the starter's back in now, and they've dropped a quick 4. Josie Ladd missed the inside basket there. Ravenwood just trying to slow it down and regain some composure. Vogus winded up and down the court numerous times on those breaks. Vogus with the ball now at the 3-line, tries to get it inside. Ball's tipped, back inside. That's a 2 for Chichi Nanodu, who's been trying all night to make it work inside the paint. Just hasn't had the ball drop her way. Gets it there for the 2.
Yeah, Chichi currently making her way back into the lineup, was out for a little bit, making her way back, trying to get back in the groove of things. She's been getting better each week. That's what Coach James told us earlier this week, talking about how Chichi, Jerwitz, these are players that have been preparing so much for this game and playing so physical so far, just trying to do anything they can to cut this deficit.
Vogus looks, dishes, and turns it over. It's going to be Rigsby bringing the ball up, dishes it out to Ladd, who's going to look inside, dishes it inside, back to herself off the player's body, and there you go. Ball bounced back to her after hitting Sarah Brakefield, and she drops 2 inside. 39-21 for your Lady Knights with the lead here in the third quarter.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier. Ravenwood's banking a lot on that three-point ball right now. Not a lot of efficiency, just going for threes, trying to climb their way back into this game. And a lot of what they're depending on defense is blocks. And Josie Ladd, as she makes the 3, as I'm about to mention her, she is someone that is almost unblockable for this Ravenwood team with her height and her size, and that's why she's had free and open threes and mid-ranges so far this game.
Well, and she was a little icy in the first quarter, but she's definitely turned that around and heated it up. I think she's got 7 points in the third quarter alone already. And again, the Knights double up the Raptors 42-21.
Yeah, and this game looked pretty close early on in that first quarter, only a 4-point lead after the first quarter. Looked like Ravenwood was getting the momentum, getting the chance to get back in this game, and ultimately Knights pulled off a 10-2 run coming straight out of that second quarter and almost ripped the heart of these Raptors out. It looks like, not that they've given up, but you can see the passion and the aggression and the physicality so far to start even just this half for the Knights.
Well, and Ravenwood honestly just has not been able to establish any kind of rhythm on offense. They haven't been able to set up any plays. Again, they look like they're just trying to survive on offense, and that's where you're seeing these three-pointers come from, just trying to get something going. And it's been really, really inconsistent on Ravenwood's part. Lots of turnovers, lots of bad passes, a couple of cross-court passes, ill-advised. And again, just the youthfulness of this Raptor team.
Talking to Coach James earlier this week for Ravenwood, he said his key to winning this game is winning the board battle, and that's something they haven't done so far. Nolensville is dominating the offensive and defensive boards, but the amount of second chances Nolensville's got on this offensive side is truly allowing them to run this score up.
Well, and on defense, you can't put a sheet of paper in between a Nolensville defender and that offensive player. They are playing tight on defense, and they're not giving the Raptors room to breathe. And it's just forced turnover after turnover. They just can't handle the ball with this Nolensville defense. These girls are on them. Aaliyah Starr there in the paint, carries it in like a football and gets 2 out of it, drops the layup. 42-23 your score.
Starr, the freshman we talked about earlier in this matchup. She's a strong physical presence at the guard position, which is not something you see a lot, as Addie Harris sinks the mid-range for the Knights, bringing the score back up to 21.
Good look there for Addie Harris at the top of the key. That just looked too easy. Good follow-through on her shot, 2-bucket. 22 on the Raptors. Cora Havlin drops the 2, but the foul was called on the floor, so the bucket won't count.
It's going to be the first foul on number 10 for the Knights, Kylie Mendoza.
Star drives again, and in and out goes the basket. Addie Harris takes it up. Dishes it into Ladd. Ladd out to Johnson. Johnson over to Mall, who's going to shoot the three. Ball rolls out after the rebound attempt from Voges.
Once again, an offensive board for this Nolensville team, just keeping the pressure on. Johnson, one of the main scorers on this team. That's going to be a shot for number 10, Kylie Mendoza, no good. Rebounded by Aaliyah Starr and the Raptors.
Mendoza seeing her first action of the night here in the third quarter. Knights up 21. Your score 44-23.
The lone senior for the Raptors, Kate Jerwitz, checking in for the Raptors. She brings the physicality to this Raptors team, and they're really going to need her going forward in this matchup. They're going to want to try to close this gap.
22 there. Cor Haviland shoots the three. No good off the pass from Starr. Addie Harris driving down. Looks for a pass to Ladd there. Tried to squeeze it in between two Raptors, and no good. Ball's out of bounds. Knights will retain possession.
For the Knights there. Bringing a lot of other players in. Johnson coming out, Ladd coming out, Mendoza coming out. A lot of the star power on this team is coming out of the game and going to the bench right now. Another turnover for the Knights.
Call on the floor goes against the Knights. Ravenwood will take possession. Starr brings it up. Rigsby out there. She's what I would call your sixth man. Gets a lot of playing time. Mall and Harris still out on the floor.
Yeah, and Mall's a really physical defender. She has a lot of steals this season. She is handsy on defense, but she's not too handsy. She knows when it's going to be called a foul, and she knows how to get the ball without getting those calls and running up her foul count.
I don't think we had 3 whistles in the first half, and we've had 3 whistles in the last 25 seconds. Out to Voges, who's going to shoot the three off the front of the rim. No good. Ball rolls out of bounds, and the Knights will gain possession. So Ravenwood down 21 here. Just settling back on defense, not really pressuring this Nolensville offense.
Yeah, Nolensville's really had full control to do whatever they want so far. And they've kept the game simplistic as Mall puts up a three, no good. Rebound by Harris. Actually, sorry, to Ravenwood.
Aaliyah Starr going to try to go coast to coast. Smart foul there on Rigsby. Has plenty to give. Didn't want to give the easy layup there.
Yeah, and that's the physicality from Rigsby. She's only 5'5", but she's playing like one of the most physical players tonight. You see Starr on your screen, a really promising freshman for this Raptors team.
Starr's going to shoot 2 here from the line. She was 0 for 2 on her last trip from the line and make it 0 for 3.
And that's those free points we talked about earlier. We've discussed this multiple times tonight. Raptors cannot take their free points. They have to make free throws like this.
Nanodu spells Voges. Starr on her second shot. That's going to be good. So 1 for 4 on the night is Starr from the free throw. That's going to bring the lead to 20 for Nolensville. Rigsby take the ball up, past half court. Surveying what she's got in front of her. Dishes it out to Tharp. Tharp to Harris. Harris back to Rigsby. Rigsby to Mall, working the perimeter. Back to Harris, who mishandles the ball, recovers.
The Raptors defense playing well on this possession. Have struggled with their size, obviously, and that's a trip for Lila Myers on Ravenwood. But this team is playing well. They're holding their defense. They're playing man right now.
Nanodu looking to go coast to coast. Can't get it to drop, but does draw the and 1 foul. She will go to the line and shoot 2.
Crucial points for the Raptors here. They have to start taking advantage of their free points and building momentum so that they can try to close this 20-point gap.
Got a celebrity appearance on the court. There's Pam Vaden, the principal of the Ravenwood Raptors, making her way to the side. Nolensville goes 0 for 2 from the line. Raptors struggling from the free throw line tonight. Nyla Johnson lines up a 3, decides to drive inside, dishes it out, back out to Johnson.
1 for 6 in their last 6 free throws for the Raptors. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but that drops this game to a 15-point deficit rather than 20 so far.
Knights are content just working the perimeter. No shot clock here in girls basketball. Good follow through. Scarlett Spain, all 5'5" of her, cleans the glass, gets the putback, gets the 2. 46-24, your new score here. Under a minute to go in the third.
Yeah, and she has the ability to be really sneaky behind the glass there. You saw her sneak behind as Jurwitz goes behind the back and gets the bucket for the Raptors.
Jurwitz goes under the rim and over the shoulder and gets the basket. Johnson no good. Ladd on the rebound no good. Back out to Addie Harris all alone at the 3, no good. Bit of a cold spell here for the Knights on the floor shooting.
Yeah, the Raptors need to start taking advantage of this cold spell. Only 2 points in about the last 3 minutes for the Knights, and the same thing for the Raptors. They've missed 4 free throws in that span. Then not being able to take advantage of this cold streak for the Knights is what's putting them down 20 right now.
22, Cora Haviland's going to go to the line and shoot 2. Foul was on Addie Harris. I believe that's her first of the night. And the struggles continue for the Raptors from the free throw line. Another miss for Haviland.
Yeah, bringing them up to 1 out of 7 in their last 7 free throws. Really just struggling from the line tonight.
1 for 1. She's going to be the highest percentage free throw shooter of the night at 500. Johnson brings it up court. 10 seconds to go here in the third. Johnson crosses up, banks shot, it's good. Lead back to 21. Haviland's gonna shoot just inside the 3-point line, no good. And that's where our score will stay entering the fourth quarter. Nolensville 48, Ravenwood 27 on your WCTV Game of the Week. Doug Capella with Jacob Hammer Time Hammer over here. Well, I think it's kind of settling into what we thought it would be.
Yeah, early in this game, it kind of looked like Ravenwood was going to have a chance to stick in it. And, you know, their 2-9 record shows a lot, but it doesn't show anything in a rivalry game like this. There was always a chance for them to get in it, but looks like Nolensville is just kind of keeping their composure and not letting Ravenwood crawl back into this game.
Well, and we did see Coach Ladd not empty the bench per se, but he did get some bench players some time, some significant time in that third quarter. We saw Kylie Mendoza come in for a spell. Scarlett Spain came in for a little bit. And it gave some of those starters some good breathable minutes on the bench to get ready for the fourth quarter. And you'll probably see, I would imagine when we get halfway through this quarter, you'll probably see just about his whole bench on the floor.
Yeah, and we talked about it earlier. We thought Ravenwood was going to have a 12-woman rotation tonight, and we really haven't seen a lot of diversity on this Ravenwood attack. You don't know, maybe Coach James was trying to switch it up from what they've been doing, but not a lot of diversity for the Raptors. More for the Knights tonight.
Well, when you got a young team like he does, it really does take a bit of games to see exactly what you got, who plays well together. And so he may now just be settling on who his 5 are going forward. I mean, obviously, we've seen a lot of Vogus. We've seen a lot of Haviland. Kate Urowicz is another one.
And I think finding a rhythm like that for the Raptors, while this game might not be going exactly how they wanted it to, finding a rhythm like this is going to push them forward for the later parts of this season, where if they can get in a groove, they can start winning some games.
It's kind of surprising for the Raptors. You have Nolensville that swaps in and out with Vogus. They're both tall. You might want to have them on the floor at the same time.
Yeah, the Raptors leaving a smaller rotation out consistently. I think if they were to put in some of their taller players that can be physical, get in the paint, and get the boards against a big team like Nolensville, I think that would push them forward a lot.
Two ball goes up, and it's good. That's going to be Kylie White for the Raptors. It's her second three on the night.
Another one of those young stars for the Raptors, just a sophomore, 5'5". She shoots the three ball well, and she's done really well at getting into that mid-range and pushing forward in what she needs to do.
Wide open is Ladd underneath. Good ball movement there. Good look on the court. Ladd drops the easy two, pushes the lead back to 20, 50-30.
Ravenwood just looking for a little bit of hope to get them back in this game. Anything they can find, cutting the lead down to 20 now, hoping that they can push that further.
Nolensville again showing a 2-3 zone. Ravenwood taking a lot of time off the clock on this possession. Haviland shoots for the three, airballs it. Good, strong inside move by Jurowicz. Cleans the glass, drops the two, and that's going to bring the lead under 20 to 18.
Yeah, and that's the experience of Jurowicz showing. They are a young team. Having a leader like Jurowicz, a senior, that is able to push them forward and play that physical game, set the tone for this team. That's what's going to be important for Ravenwood tonight to even show a glimmer of hope going into their next game and as their season progresses.
Raptors call a timeout after the basket there. Not quite sure what Coach James is wanting to talk about there on that. Maybe celebrate that they got an offensive rebound, perhaps.
Yeah, I think one thing they need to look at is being purposeful with the ball. Right now, it looks like they're just passing the ball around aimlessly, not knowing what they want to do with it. I think if they became a little more purposeful with the ball, looking for open looks, looking on how to get an open look, it just kind of looks like they're a little confused and lackluster out there tonight.
Well, that's right. You got 6 minutes to play. You're down by 18. You can't have a 45-second possession. You got to get some points. You got to be a little more up-tempo. But I just think with Nolensville sitting in a 2-3 zone, they're not giving them any room to operate, and they're playing sound defense. So Ravenwood's just really doing what they can, and I think that's what Nolensville wants to do, is limit possessions and just run this clock. You're probably going to see a lot of ball movement here on the offensive side for Nolensville just to bring this clock down.
Yeah, and running the zone for Nolensville is really helpful for them. If they're able to keep their stamina up, they're not running as much as a man as how they started this game, as the ball goes to Nyla Johnson in the paint, blocked.
Tipped over to Ladd, back to Ladd on the air ball, foul. Ladd's going to go to the line, and I believe, Jacob, if I'm not wrong, this is the first time Nolensville has gone to the line tonight.
Yeah, I believe you're correct. We haven't seen them get any calls tonight, and we've seen Ravenwood missing almost 8 shots so far from the free throw line.
Josie Ladd, again, the coach's daughter here. She's going to be technically sound, and it would not surprise me if she made both free throws here. She's probably shot over 1 million in her young life already. Oh, and I spoke it into existence. She missed the second shot.
That's how it goes.
Coach Ladd, that's on me. That's my fault.
I'm sure he'll want to come have a conversation with you later. Talk about that.
Ruining his daughter's free throw percentage. But just like that, the Knights are back to the line. Number 34, Sarah Brakefield. Misses her first one.
Free throw is a struggle for both teams tonight as Brakefield goes for her second.
0 for 2 does go Brakefield, so that's going to be 51-32. Turnover. And another turnover, and the Raptors regain possession off the inbound. Coach James for Ravenwood calls another timeout, I think, just to settle his squad down. The ball was going all over the place.
Yeah, and that's the purpose again. It doesn't look like Ravenwood knows where they want the ball to be. They're just trying to get it in that open space because Nolensville's creating such a heavy presence. They're swarming the ball, and they're not letting Ravenwood think about where they want that ball to be.
You know, 5.5 minutes in a basketball game can be an eternity, but in this game, you just don't feel like that's anywhere near enough time for Ravenwood to make any serious push to make this close. because throughout the game they haven't been able to maximize open shots or turnovers or trips to the free throw line. And I think Nolensville is just going to be content to run clock on offense.
Yeah, in games that you're an underdog, you have to take advantage of what is given to you. Teams will mess up. They will make mistakes. That is your job to take advantage of, and I don't think Ravenwood has been able to do that exactly how they planned to tonight, and I think that's what creates this 19-point deficit.
So 5:27 here to go in the final quarter. Raptors 32, visiting Knights 51, and just like that, Raptors turn it over. Rigsby to Maul. Maul out to 34. It's going to be Brakefield. Brakefield back to Maul. Maul back to Brakefield. Brakefield on the inside. Little soft touch and in. Pushes the lead back over 20. 53-32.
Brakefield, one of the stronger players for this Knights team, is going to use her physicality and strength to push and box out in the paint. When you see someone like Josie Ladd, 6'1", but maybe not as strong and as muscular, they're going to use her more at the perimeter, the floater game. That's where she's going to become more helpful compared to Brakefield, really dominating the paint so far.
I think the officials must have left their whistles in the locker room for the first half and brought them back out for the second half. Seen a lot of calls in what was at first a very chippy yet no call first half to maybe they just don't want it to get too aggressive here, I guess, in the second half.
Yeah, and both teams still showing physicality, but these refs were most certainly letting it go a little more in that first half. We've seen almost double the amount of free throws we saw in that first half so far.
It's going to be off the feet there of number 2, Kylie White, for the Raptors. I was going to say if they didn't inbound that pass, that was going to be a 5-second violation, but they got it off the foot, and Nolensville will take possession here. Nyla Johnson brings it up with not much urgency. Harris out at the top, over to Ladd, back to Nyla Johnson. Johnson's going to look, has Harris up top. Over to Maul. Maul back to Johnson. Johnson to Maul. Maul's going to shoot from the top. Bucket. Count it. That's a 2. It's going to be 55-32. Knights are pulling away here. Just over 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Another turnover. Josie Ladd gets possession. Ladd's going to drive. Looks, dishes off of a Raptor player, excuse me. Wrestle for the ball. It's going to be a jump, and I'm going to assume that's going to be Nolensville's ball here, and it is.
On the last possession, we saw Johnson's ability to pass. That she's not just a pure scorer, she also passes the ball so well. She has offers from Tennessee Tech so far and still getting interest from other schools. It looks like she's going to be going at least D2 in college.
Harris bodies and misses, but Brakefield's there to clean the glass and drop the 2. Knights on a little bit of a run here, push the lead to 25. The Knights have switched back to man defense.
Surprising considering they want to waste this time. They want this game to end as fast as possible, and they're going to tire some of their starters out before I think some of their players on the bench currently are going to come into this game.
Aaliyah Starr, good-looking drive. Bucket just doesn't fall. Pretty close. Ladd drives, looks inside, has Brakefield there. Brakefield puts it up and in.
Brakefield having an extremely impressive game. The way that she's facilitated the paint so far tonight, her teammates know that she is there no matter what. They're just throwing the ball up and knowing that she'll bring it down. Johnson
on the steal. Barring any unforeseen tragedy, that's going to be an easy basket, and it is. Knights pulling away, up by 29 with just over 2.5 minutes to play. Johnson on the steal again to Ladd. Ladd finds Maul. Maul misses. See who has possession here. That's going to go to Ravenwood. And here comes the bench clearing for Nolensville. 2.5 minutes to go.
Looks like the same for Ravenwood. I think both teams preparing for what's going to be a quick exit to this game.
So
And
Addie
really-
Harris remains. Other than that, the other 4 check out. You got Mendoza and Spain back in. Senior Ella Claire Tharp checks in. And junior Brooklyn Pring.
The physical Nonodu checking in for the Raptors. She's going to be leading this bench roster and this 5 right now. Her physicality is something that's been admired by Coach James a lot, as we've talked to him this week.
Pring up and misses. Raptors will get possession. Knights push the lead to 29. Just under 2 to go here. And what will go down as a Knights victory. Nonodu tries, misses, tries again, gets the basket and the call. She'll go to the line and shoot 1.
Yeah, 1 for 2 so far in the game for Nonodu from the free throw line, hoping to increase that percentage that has been pretty low for Ravenwood so far tonight.
Shot is up and it is good, so Nonodu converts the 3-point play. Lead 26 for the Raptors, or for the Knights, correction.
The Raptors' young squad getting even younger with this bench unit in.
Taylin Mosqueda dribbled herself into a corner there and turned the ball over.
It's just careless passes like that have gotten this Raptors team in trouble. It doesn't look like they know where the ball's going, nor can they really control where the ball is going. It looks like Nolensville's in full control of where the ball is at all times.
Mosqueda commits the blocking foul there on Nonodu. Nonodu will go to the line. .106 here to play. Your score, Nolensville 63, host Raptors 35 on your WCTV doubleheader, girls and boys game of the week.
Nolensville coming out with a strong road victory tonight. This team is building momentum, and they're building it fast. They're excited for the regional tournament, considering no district tournaments this year. Nolensville's excited to break the streak of losing 2 years in a row in the regionals.
Nonodu missed her first, shooting her second. Ball is up, and it is good. Your new score, 36-63. Numbers transposed, if you know what that means, but the score going to be not something the Raptors can overcome here with under a minute left to play.
Nolensville just trying to get the last possession, get out of this game. Turnover by the Knights.
Nonodu drops 2 more. 30 seconds and counting here. Nolensville would be content to just pass it around and let the clock run.
The Raptors still playing aggressive, still trying to get as many points as they can. Playing physical defense right now.
Mosqueda drives in and draws the foul.
The foul difference between the first and second half has really been extremely significant. We saw only 6 free throws shot in the first half. We've seen 6 in the last 30 seconds here. Really just a tale of 2 different halves, and Nolensville ultimately just pulled away so fast in the second half, left no chance for this Ravenwood team to come back.
Mosqueda sinks her second free throw. Ravenwood quick, Mosqueda with the block. Good D there, sinks the free throw and then comes back and blocks the fast break shot. And that's the game. Your first of 2, Nolensville 65. Ravenwood 38. That'll drop the Raptors to 2-10. Nolensville will improve to 15-3.
Tough loss for the Raptors tonight at home, but there was a lot of promise in that first half. They started the game off, keeping it close, ending the first quarter at only a 4-point deficit, having the momentum. Coach James and this Raptors team should have a lot to look forward to in the next cupping games.
All right, we'll be underway with the boys here in a few moments. Until then, grab some popcorn, get a soft drink. We'll be back in a moment.